Greetings. Welcome to today's session. Welcome to Peak Performance Secrets. My name is Kamoya Benjamin. I identify as a peak performance coach, and what that means is that I help people to thrive. And that means deploying themselves at the optimum mindset and skill set in order to create more impact, more income, more decisiveness, more assertiveness, whatever more represents for you. It's a peak performance conversation. And today, I want to talk about something that's really close to my heart, and that's really about failure. And we're looking at it from this angle of safe versus risky. Which path leads to failure? Which one would you rather take, a safe approach versus a risky approach? And this really comes to us and is of importance because we are all trying to create some outcome. We're all chasing some goal, dream, and desired outcome. And like that mouse over there, it's going for the cheese. It's identified a goal, just like you have identified a goal, a desire, an outcome. And where you are is a place that we call here, which is today, your departure point. And where you want to go is a place called there, which is your desired outcome and realizing it. And it's a place that we're calling your arrival point. And so as you're moving from here to go there are a lot of dangers. There are unknowns. There are, uncertainties. Things may not necessarily go the way that you've planned and charted your path that things will go. There will be turbulence along the way. And those interruptions, the turbulence that you experience on the path from here to go there creates emotions of fear, emotions of doubt, emotions that really we do not want to experience. We want to put fear aside. I mean, I don't think your best moment is when you're scared and frightened to the core. I don't think it is. Rather, I think that your great moments are when you're thriving and you're winning and things are happening. And so we want to avoid that. We want to avoid those kind of moments. We're wired to be like, you know what? I would rather be feeling safe, than feeling risky. So if you're on the path going from here to there to achieve your dreams, which of these two postures is likely to lead to failure? That's the conversation that I want us to have. But for us to get there, let's define these two terms. Safe refers to a situation where you are free from harm or risk. You are secure from threat, danger, harm, or loss. You're not likely to take risks is another way that the dictionary defines the word safe. In other words, you and risk have bid each other goodbye. You and harm have bid each other goodbye. Wow, I'm in a good place. I'm not going to be harmed. I'm in a good place. There is no danger. The threat has been taken care of. I am here. The threat is there. I'm in a safe place. Are you getting the idea? So in other words, you're kind of choosing to be at a place where harm, threat is not going to come against you. Now, look at risk. Risk is the complete opposite. Risk in the dictionary is defined as to expose, opposite of safety, which is almost like cover. Exposed to hazard, exposed to danger. It's the possibility that actually you will encounter loss. You will face injury. And it also defines risk as actually to incur the risk or the danger of whatever that thing may be. Now, I know when we're going for our goals, everybody wants to opt out of risk and be in a safe space. But what exactly is required for you operating at peak performance in order for you to go for something that is risky? Again, I'm bringing up this mouse and thinking about, what does this cheese represent in your life? What does this cheese represent in terms of your goals? In terms of your dreams? In terms of your desires? And the question I'm asking is if you take a safe posture, are you actually going to achieve these dreams? Yes, I get it. There's a risk. There's a risk. But the way we've defined failure in this journey, we've defined failure as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity for feedback, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to understand how not to do it and to pick up the lessons of how to do it, re-enter the game, do it differently, get different results, arrive at your goals, dreams, and desires. And so when you stand in a safe space, you're like, hey, you know what? I don't want any harm. I don't want any danger. Is that a place that really supports you to grow? Is that a place that supports you to grow? And really, what is the mindset that seeking safety thrives on? What is the kind of mindset that inspires us to seek safety? I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the nature of life is that life is risky. Getting out of bed is risky. Taking a shower is risky. I mean, if you look at, at some statistics, and I'm just picking this up from the top of my head when I heard them, and these guys were saying that you're more likely to die from electrocution or falling in the bathroom than you are from an airplane falling off of the sky. There is a lot that we need to kind of embrace and pick up on our own journey, especially as we are looking at our journey and asking the question, how do I create the... Will you actually achieve your goals if you choose safety? Will you arrive at your destination if you choose safety? But what's the mindset that actually, supports this idea of being safe? One of the things that I would like for you to notice is this. Every time we seek safety, all right, every time we seek safety, there is something that we are avoiding. There's something that we're avoiding. And what we are avoiding is driven by the fear. It's driven by fear. And when you're avoiding something, what you're doing is you're operating from what we call a play not to lose mind frame. What you're doing is you're solving, a problem. And so what are you? So you're problem focused. You're problem focused. I don't want that to happen. That's what I'm avoiding. Because if it happens, fear is driving me. So you're problem focused. You're playing on we're operating from what we call a play not to lose mind frame. You seek safety. Whereas when you see the risk, we're not talking about moving forward blindly. We're talking about you've seen the risk. You've seen that, it could go in this direction. But what exactly you're going towards is you're seeking to create something. You're seeking to make something happen. You're not trying to avoid. Yes, you see the risk, but the desire to make something happen is greater. And so you're driven by passion or driven by the love for the outcome. That's also called purpose driven. And you're operating from what we call a play to win. And so you will shift situations and circumstances, even in the face of risk. You're exposed. Yes, you are. And you will do everything that it takes in order for you to create the outcome that you want. In other words, you're playing to win. You're shifting circumstances and you're turning and changing decisions so that you can arrive at the desired outcome. Yes, the risk is there. Yes, I know it could go wrong. But guess what? What if we do it this way? What if we do it that way? The Wright brothers never had a pilot's license, but they introduced us to the kingdom of flight. It was risky. And yes, some people died in the process. It was risky, but driven by the desire to make something happen, something that didn't exist before, which is man flying, an unmanned flight. They introduced us to the kingdom of flight. What are the desires that you have? but they've been curtailed by your seeking safety. What are the outcomes that could be possible for you, but they've been curtailed by seeking safety? And how can you enter into the mind frame of seeing the risk and planning for the risk and taking the next step? By the way, do you notice this? My mentor shared this idea with me, Paul Martinelli, and he said, Benjamin, risk is a myth. I don't have all the time to talk about that because it's an entire topic, but I'll just throw this snippet for you to reflect on. He said, risk is a myth. What one man considers a risk, another man does not consider a risk. Walking on a tightrope may appear a very risky venture for everybody who has come to observe the tightrope walker between two buildings, suspended up there 40 floors up in the sky. That's very risky. But why is the person that we are observing who is walking across not perceiving that as risky? What do they know that you who is watching and considering to be risky do not know and are not aware of? And this is what my mentor shared with me. He said, Benjamin, the moment you become aware of your resources, risk disappears. Risk evaporates. Another example, it's very risky to jump from the edge of a 40-floor building. It's very risky. You will die. You're likely to injure yourself so badly. But what shifts that scenario when you put on a parachute on your back? Now you can jump. What happened to the risk? And so risk is a myth the moment that it is presented with resources. And while you're approaching your goals, you're approaching your desired outcome and dreams and to create it, and you sense like, oh my goodness, I'm exposing myself. This is a hazard. Guess what? There's a possibility of loss or injury. When you introduce your resources, your resourced state into this equation, risk almost melts. And that is the message that I have for you, that the path that is likely to lead to failure, the path that is likely to lead to failure, the path that is likely to lead you to remain where you are and not advance in the way that you know you could, is the path of safety. Because fear is the overriding factor. And what is fear? Fear is an emotion. And what is an emotion? An emotion is a signal to take action. When you walk into somebody's compound and a dog comes out of nowhere and barks at you, you feel fear. That right there is a chemical and electrical charge in your body. It's a signal to say, take action. Either jump, pick up a stick, prepare for war, something is about to happen, watch out, there's a dog. Fear at the core is an emotion. And it's an emotion that comes either to serve or to sabotage you. And so when we are recognizing risk, and we're choosing to say, wait a minute, this emotion is causing me to be aware that as I walk on this tightrope, I might fall, but I'm aware of my resources. You summon the resources and you deploy them in the situation. That is peak performance. That is peak performance in parenting. It's peak performance in your faith. It's peak performance in your fitness journey. It's peak performance in your financial goals at work. It's peak performance because you're deploying your mindset, deploying yourself at the optimum mindset and skill set required in order to create the desired outcome. Life is not riskless. And so notice that when you're choosing safety, what you're doing is you're avoiding something. When you're choosing safety, you're driven by fear. When you're choosing safety, you're not necessarily playing to create something, but you're playing to avoid something. So you're playing not to lose. Okay, I'll take winning next week, but for now, I need to make sure that I don't lose. And that's very different from playing to win, which is where you do everything you can. You deploy yourself differently. You collaborate widely in order to create the results that you know are possible for you. I hope that in today's session, I've added some value and given you a perspective to help you see, wait a minute, as far as these two are concerned, which one leads to failure? Is it the path of safety or is it the path of risk? Wow. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Benjamin Kamoy, a peak performance coach, and this session is always called Peak Performance Secrets. Kindly drop something in the comments and let me know what stood out for you. What are you taking away from this time that we've been together? Share this video, and for those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. I've got this and more coming out every week to serve and support you in your peak performance journey. Blessings, be well, and bye for now.